in search of the perfect hair dye. A study by Northwestern researchers reports that a form of graphium can be used as a less harmful hair color. From crushed leeches soaked in vinegar to modern chemical compounds, fashionable humans have sought ways to dye their hair for thousands of years. It's a messy, stinky process, which researcher Jiaxing Huang, a materials scientist at Northwestern University, compares to performing organic chemical synthesis on top of one's head. Dr. Huang believes he is on the trail of a solution that will make hair coloring easier and possibly safer. In a study published Thursday in the journal Chem, Dr. Huang and his colleagues report that graphium, a naturally black material, also makes a successful hair dye. In an experiment using platinum blonde hair samples and wigs, the researchers coated hair with a graphium solution that included water, vitamin C and a polymer to improve adhesion. They reported creating a natural-looking black hair shade, in contrast to the shoe-polished look that many women complain of, and that's been something of a challenge to achieve in the hair dye industry. Continue reading the main story. Trilobites unearthing fascinating morsels of science. Rewilding missing carnivores may help restore some landscapes. Ma 16 picture a leader. Is she a woman? Ma 16 Steve, a famous northern light, stays mysterious, and keeps his name. Ma 15 a newly discovered difference between alligators and crocodiles. Ma 12 after a volcano's ancient supereruption, humanity may have thrived. Ma 12 see more than new method stayed on after 30 washings, the number necessary for a hair dye to be considered permanent. Your hair is covered in these cuticle scales like the scales of a fish, and people have to use ammonia or organic amines to lift the scales and allow dye molecules to get inside, said Dr. Huang, in an interview. But lifting the cuticle makes the strands of the hair more brittle, and the damage is only exacerbated by the hydrogen peroxide that is used to trigger the reaction that synthesizes the dye once the pigment molecules are inside the hair. Not all hair dyes use peroxide anymore, but the core chemistry is generally the same, Dr. Huang said. Graphium is a two-dimensional sheet-like material made of a single atomic layer of carbon. It is strong, thin and a great conductor of electricity and heat. When it was discovered in 2004, it was viewed as revolutionary for the electronics industry. But its thin, flexible sheets can adapt to uneven surfaces, which also makes it a good coating material, the study said. An added advantage is the elimination of static and fly-away hair on dry winter days. Another plus, Dr. Huang said, is that the graphium flakes are too large to be absorbed through the skin, unlike other ingredients generally used today in current dark hair dyes that can penetrate the skin barrier. Because we now have a coating-based dye, we don't have to get into the hair or change the chemical structure, he said. It's an immaterial solution to solve a chemistry problem. Exactly how big a problem is not known. The Food and Drug Administration reports that 2 ingredients that were found to cause cancer in animals are no longer used in hair dyes. But there are thousands of different chemicals in use, and of these, many have not been studied either alone nor in combination with others.